Welcome, welcome, divine greetings, beautiful family, soul family, kings and queens from all over the world. I'm so happy to have you here today for this very, very special live with my sister, Queen Noa. Oh my goodness, we are going to dive so deep today into the power of loving ourselves, the power of love in our healing journey. Queen Noa has been on her own incredible healing journey, detoxifying her body, clearing her mind, healing her traumas, and really has come to such a beautiful, powerful space of calm and peace and self-love. And now she helps so many people all around her. And I am one of the lucky ones that she has been helping and breathing life into me. I see how divine and tapped in she is to her highest purpose. And I'm so excited to be here with her today. But without further ado, we do want to share this in our group. So let's wait before Noa starts speaking. We're just going to take a moment to share in our group so that everybody can be joining us today. So I'm going to tag you, Queen, in this. So hopefully it'll go to your profile.
I'm actually sharing it now.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. We're so happy to have you here. If you have any questions too, drop them in the chat. I will be able to check out the chat. And hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions. I'm just going to share it in the RAWvolution. All right, so you got it in your group?
No, I don't have the option to share it in my group, just to my page. So maybe you can share it in my group.
Oh no. Okay, let me do that.
Yeah.
I think it's because maybe my settings are set to...
I can only share it on my profile.
Okay, I got it shared into your group now. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Auntie Gwen. So good to have you here today. So as I was saying, Queen Noa is a beautiful friend, teacher, mentor who has been through so many phases in her life, to come to this point. And she shared a beautiful talk the other day with Justin about, the pranic lifestyle. She's been living the pranic lifestyle, really tapping into the truth of who we are as humans, and really like to embrace every step of our evolution, our RAWvolution, to really love our way to health, love our way to higher consciousness. So thank you so much, Queen, for being here with me today. It is such an honor to be in your life, to be receiving all of your powerful messages and downloads. I have seen the transformation within myself from your friendship, from your love and your teachings. And I'm so excited to be sharing with our friends and families and all over the world your beautiful, beautiful presence, essence, and divine gifts.
Oh my goodness, my absolute pleasure. I'm just a little distracted here with all the technology. I'm like, okay, we got it all set. Aline, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you beyond words. And it's so fun to go back to our messages like we did last night. Like, wow, this is the first time we connected. Aline and I, well, let's just say this, durian brought us together.
Yes, it did.
For those of you that are fruit lovers and know the king of all fruits, which is named durian, the durian brought us together last year. And yeah, it's been a wonderful journey to connect with you more and more and deepen our friendship and deepen our connection, and seeing just how much we resonate with one another and how much we align when it comes to our visions and what it is that we would like to bring forth. And yes, and having that common thread of what we call eating distortions and the relationship with food, our relationship with our body, and that we speak the same language when it comes to that. Like we both have a very profound and personal experience with that reality, and we also know how to rise above it, or we've walked the path and we've used very similar tools, you and I. The fruits is one of them. And so we are both very much in this point in our lives in which we feel how important it is to share this message, and also to, and this is part of our conversation today, like the feminine power and the feminine approach and the feminine perspective and attitude when it comes to this journey.
Mhm.
If it's health, if it's, yeah, chronic living, whatever it is. I mean, ultimately for me, all those streams lead to the same ocean, and it's really
Mhm.
all about us coming home to ourselves, and through that all the pieces come together, because
Mhm.
it's our birthright to be radiantly healthy. It's our birthright to be happy, to be joyful, to live in our natural state, which, yes, does not require that much food, but that doesn't mean that we need to see it as like a goal. My goal in life is to live without food. Well, the goal is to come back home and realize who we truly are. Along the way, if food falls away for you, great.
Mhm.
It's like whatever happens is your destiny and destined journey to have, and it's all beautiful. And to have the support and to have the awareness of what is possible, and that love is the way. Like, for me, I've learned, as much as the ego kind of wants to kick and scream when it comes to that, but it boils down to love, and that is the feminine coming back online in our consciousness, in our bodies, in our level of awareness, and giving the feminine essence. It's not about a gender thing. It's not a gender thing. It's about the feminine essence coming back online after so many generations of oppression and suppression. And it includes our body, because our body is such a sacred vehicle, and there's just so much that lives in this beautiful body temple. And this is our purpose, to discover who we truly are, which is beyond just this body. And at the same time, the body is the house, the temple for the soul,
Mhm.
which is the light of your being, right? But the light of your being needs to have a home, and that home needs to be nice for that light to shine through in its most radiant way, and full potential of that light, right? So that's what, for me, that's what it's all about. That's the game that we're playing here.
So powerful. And I love how you weave in and embody that divine feminine essence, and have certainly shown me how to do that. And the feminine essence means being in the flow, being in that surrendered state, being in the natural progression of things. It's like the opposite of the forcing, trying to achieve, trying to always do, right? It's like, can we just allow? Can we receive? Can we almost like melt into this experience, as opposed to like trying to make anything happen, And I've certainly been in that, like, oh, I got to do like a 40-day juice cleanse. Oh, I'm still like releasing this mucoid plaque. Let me just continue and like, and I was like, I was in the flow. I'm not saying like I was pushing, but it was this like goal and this ideal that I was trying to get to. And then also like beating myself up if I came off the path, and even we've had conversation about like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm eating cooked foods. I felt like I was lesser than. I felt like I wasn't doing good enough, like comparing myself to what others were doing and feeling like, oh, I'm a health coach, therefore I can never be in this space. And you really helped me. And this goes for everybody who's on this path, who may be, experiencing this, like, I felt like I would be judged almost even by you, because I saw you as like so perfect. And I'm just being like really honest, like, oh my gosh, she won't even want to be my friend anymore because I'm not on the level she's at, and we've just worked through that and talked about it, because that's really just like our own mental ideas and our own like judgments about ourselves based on something that we do, but it is not our essence. It is not who we are. And we can still be on a very high vibration, even if we're still in the process of becoming that and evolving, you know. And I really love also, we were touching base, and I would love to touch on this too. There's so much I want to like open up from what you said, but I definitely want to touch on the concept of like light and light that we came into yesterday, because that was like a really awakening moment for both of us. And you caught it on faster, and then I was like, oh yeah, and then it hit me like 2 minutes later, and I said, oh, wait a minute. Light and light. Light as in the light, the sun, the luminosity is the same word as feeling light, feeling light in our body, light-hearted, light-spirited. And you're the one that made that connection. So let's talk a little bit more on that. You know, the like vibration that we do feel when we are lighter in our body, when we are high on the fruits and on the pranic living. And we did get a question about what is pranic living. So if you'd like to weave that in and maybe share with others who have never been introduced to this concept.
Yes, yes, Aline. Wow, thank you so much. So let me start with a question, because this is important for those that this might be a new concept. And just like in my talk with Justin the other day, that one of the things that is very important for me regarding all of this is to demystify it.
Mhm.
Demystify the whole idea of, well, pranic living and breatharianism. It's realizing that this is who we are. So prana, where does it come from? The name itself, pranic living. Prana is life force. Different traditions call it in different names. So prana, it comes from the Hindu tradition. And in Eastern philosophy, Chinese medicine, they call it qi. Right? You have practices like qigong, for example, which is energy cultivation practice, just like yoga is an energy cultivation practice. All those practices that we put in place from different traditions, they may look different, they may have different movements or postures, but same thing, they're all streams leading to the same ocean. But each practice is going to speak to a person at a different time, right? For me, yoga has been the modality, but all those practices are designed to help the individual remove obstructions from the body on a physical, emotional, and energetic level, so the life force can move through more easily and freely, because there are no obstructions to the energy flow. So prana is nothing fancy. It's the life force that emanates everything, that gives everything life. There's prana in this coconut. There's prana in everything that is alive. There's prana, and even if in things that we consider to be not alive, there's prana in the rock. There's prana in everything. It's the life force that gives everything life. But the more living something is, the more prana it contains, which that's the reason why living foods are so essential when it comes to coming back to health, because they are that much more alive, chemically speaking, even nothing mystical about it. They are that much more alive than dead food, which that's what cooked food is. So the more life you bring into your vehicle, the more life is going to move through you. And within the living foods, we can go, from the dense foods to the lighter food, and that's why fruits are like at the top when it comes to the living foods, because those contain the most amount of life force. They're not processed. They contain all the elements in a beautiful package, and they are filled with prana. So pranic living is having that life force moving through you, which we all have that already. But the difference is, or the process is, that number one, we remove the obstructions so more prana, more life force can circulate in the system. And that's where we get our energy from. And when that happens, then the body becomes more efficient. And we don't actually need to consume external substances to get energy. So we become that much more self-contained in that way, that much more sovereign, you can say autonomous, that there's energy circulating in the system on a continual basis. And we don't need to grab for anything external to give us that energy. It's not that one is better than the other, one is good, one is bad, or better or worse, but just to understand the concept of what is pranic living. So the lighter you become, the more you remove the obstructions, the more life force can actually circulate in the system, and you become a self-generating machine in which the energy is that much more refined and is that much more powerful. Yeah. Now, there's also prana all around us all the time, and that's why the importance of, just like with living foods, the more you live in accordance with nature and close with nature. There's a big difference between sitting in an apartment in the city, bombarded by EMFs and whatnot, than when you are surrounded by trees and flowers and you have fresh air flowing all the time and you have clean water that you're bathing yourself in. All those things contain different levels of prana. Yeah. And so that's what pranic living is that's our natural state. That the body itself is a self-generating machine, it's a self-generating vehicle that does not rely, or doesn't need to rely, has the potential of not relying on anything external to generate energy. Right? So it's if you take an example, I'll just simplify it. A car, right? We have cars that have been running on gasoline, right? You can't put anything else in the car to make it run than gas. But now things are evolving, or have been evolving, and now we have electrical cars. And you can't put gas in an electrical car, it's not going to work, right? The fuel has changed. Now the car can be plugged into a different energy source and get the energy to run. And we have the in-between, which is hybrid. We have hybrid cars, which you can do both. You can put gas and you can plug it in. Same thing applies to our body. As we move in the direction of our natural state, which is this self-generating machine, we go through stages. So there's fuel that is going to give us energy, and then at some point the fuel might change. So if you used to getting energy from meat or cooked food, and then you switch into living foods, after a while it's like, okay, now you moved into a Tesla, you're no longer driving a gasoline-based car, so there's a different fuel that is going to give you energy, right? So that's the same thing applies until we get to our natural state, which is a natural thing. And that's what we are going to really focus on here, like to allow the process to occur. Just like Aline said, I loved it. Just melt into it. Just melt into it and allow things to unfold and evolve naturally and organically. So that is the pranic living, and what's it's all about. It's really nothing mystical. Nothing that is only reserved for monks sitting in Tibet, right? It's available to all of us if this is something that we genuinely feel, well, this is what it's my truth. Like, I feel that this is something that I'm aspire to. And it actually goes hand in hand with what Aline said, light and light. And that's what dawned on us yesterday when we were talking. And yeah, I caught it. And I said, wait a second, Aline, this is interesting. The English language doesn't have, like, right now, and correct me if somebody has another word that they can give us, but in English, we don't have one word that describe two different things or several things. In Spanish, it's very common. Like, one word can mean 6 different things. And there are other languages just like that, and that's why it can be confusing, that one word can mean a arm and a donkey at the same time. It's like, okay. So, but in English, we really don't have that. We have one specific word for each object. But light, just like Aline described, light, we can say loose, or just this the sunlight. And then we have like actually being light on our feet, light on our bodies, like Aline said. So that's also the whole process of getting back to our natural state and living in this pranic way, which is basically just that self-generating machine that the body is. Well, what does it generate? So it generates energy, and it generates light, because that is the true nature of our DNA. It's light. Like if we were able to see what's happening in our body on a continual basis, like everything that is firing inside and all the cells and how everything is working, it's like a light show happening constantly. Yeah. And so when we get in touch with that light, which is also the essence of our soul beyond the physical level, so on a soul level, the essence of who you truly are, who we truly are beyond this physical body, is light. It's a spark of light. It's a star. It's a star, yeah, which is made out of light. So lightening the load when it comes to our physical health, which contains not just the physical obstructions, but emotional, mental, all those things obstruct the energy flow. When we are bogged down by heavy emotions, when we are bogged down by mental activity that lead us nowhere, all those things obstruct the energy. Like you can eat all the fruits in the world, but if you're still surrounded by toxic people, or still invested in like dramas, or whatever pollute your mind with the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, like everything is energy. And everything has the potential to either nourish us or to bring us down, and to, in a sense, kind of like steal that light inside of us. Right? So in that health journey, it's really about lightening the load. And the lighter we become, physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, the more we fuse with that light inside of us. So light equals light.
Wow. I know when you were speaking, I was going to say almost those words. I was going to say the lighter we become in our body, the more light we emit. We hear so many people on this journey, we hear them saying like, oh my gosh, you're glowing, sis. Like you're lighting up the world. It's no coincidence that these same individuals have been eating fruit on a high level. They've been cleansing, detoxifying. They've been lightening up their load. And you could see that light shining through, the light in your eyes. Everything starts to come online when we literally become lighter in our body. And I've certainly felt that experience even from 4 days ago. I lost about 3 pounds just being on watermelon in a few days. I'm a whole other person. So I can't even imagine what my state of consciousness was when I was weighing 180 pounds, 50 pounds heavier than I am today. All that weight was really weighing me down. All that waste was really taking me away from everything I can do today. Like I couldn't even do it there. I had so much brain fog. I couldn't even focus. I couldn't be present to others. And so it's really, really beautiful to see that connection. The lighter we get, the more light we emit, and the more light being we are. We tap into our true essence and our truth and who we really are. And I love how you say that, because we often think of like, who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? Like, but it's not about who are we becoming. It's who we truly are, and all the layers that we're peeling off from who we thought we were, or who society told us we were, or the traumas that we endured, or the pressure that we felt perhaps from our parents to study a certain thing or be a certain thing. Like that's not us, and like as we cleanse and detoxify and get closer and closer to our nature, we just realize that we've always been this love that we talk about. It's not even about we are that love. And it's just about discovering that love. And I love how you say at some point, it won't even be a choice that you have to make. You know, for now, perhaps it is a choice every day. It has to be a conscious choice. Like, okay, what am I going to have? Am I going to have the fruit, or am I going to have the cooked foods? Am I going to smoke or not smoke? It might need to be a choice for some time, but at some point, like now, I don't even think about it. Of course, I'm not smoking today because I just love myself. But back in the days, it was a choice to not drink. It had to be, it was a daily battle. But now there's no way that I'm ever going to go back to drinking. So it's like this natural progression of letting go, of surrendering to the process. And I love how you say that too, because neither of us thought we would be here today, you know, where we are. We just wanted to feel better. We got the calling to stop eating animals. And that's really what started, that was the catalyst to our spiritual journey, right? Perhaps we started before that, but really stopping to eat the animals, it wasn't even we didn't know what was going to come from that. So let's touch a little bit on that, because I know we have a lot of people that are on the call that have been in our fruiting communities. It's so amazing. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Everybody's like, we could feel the level up. We could feel everybody coming more and more into their purpose. And also there's some struggles going on, you know, and a lot of like perhaps some shame that we may be experiencing, or some guilt. And let's touch on that, because I really love how you shed light on those things. Maybe perhaps we don't even want to share. A lot of us, like a lot of people have told me, you know, in Messenger, like, thank you so much for sharing that you've been eating cooked foods, because I don't even want to share. You know, I feel so ashamed. I feel so bad. Like, I really want to get back on the raw foods. And I know how that's like. And you've definitely helped me a lot to just nurture and love and have compassion for myself, even in those moments where I wasn't feeling so like proud of myself.
Well, this is great. This is a really important topic to touch on, because after so many years, you know, being in these communities, just seeing the how these feelings that you are speaking of just are being perpetuated.
Mhm.
So, and even for my own journey, right? Like the comparison, and for somebody like yourself, like myself, anyone that has any history with distorted eating, and maybe it wasn't extreme or severe as anorexia or bulimia or things like that, but even if you had any distorted relationship with your body, because for example, a lot of people that come from competitive sports or bodybuilding, maybe they never had anorexia, but they had a very distorted relationship with their body and with food.
Mhm.
So the whole topic of eating distortions is very vast, because it's not like black and white. There are many gray areas in between. You know, from like the scale from 1 to 10 of how severe a distorted eating can be. So many people come into these arenas, into these communities, because yes, there is this drive to feel better, to look better, which is just a byproduct. When you're healthy, when you feel great, you're going to look great. But there is that motivation that many people come into this health arena, wanting to become healthy, wanting to learn and expand. How can I nourish myself in a better way? And many people feel inclined, they feel that truth of the living they feel the truth of the fruits, right? It's just a very intuitive knowing that drew you to a particular arena, to a particular community. But then what happens is that if somebody, as I started saying, somebody like yourself, somebody like myself, that has history of an distorted eating to some degree, a distorted relationship with the body, which always, like if you have a distorted relationship with your body, I can't imagine not having some degree of comparison. Like it's in the back of the head, back of the mind all the time. Like, oh, look at her, look at this body. I know for me, like it was like a constant monster in my head, like looking at other bodies and like, oh, I want to look like this, or you know, and looking at what people are eating, and it's like, oh, how come she's, you know, just like the mental chatter of like, where is this taking me, right? So when that is in place, and there's a lot of comparison, which where does it stem from? It stems from a lack of self-worth. Like you said, Aline, there's no self-worth, there's no self-love. It comes with the shame, it comes with the guilt, it comes with just not feeling good about oneself. And so when you take somebody like that emotionally is not in a good place, that there's not enough self-confidence and really just like, I am the bomb diggity bomb bomb, you know, and you put them in those communities, which, as much as it's great for being exposed to information and learning and being inspired, right? There's a difference between being inspired than comparing oneself and then feeling shitty about oneself because, hey, I'm not where she is. It's a very fine line. It's a very fine line, but that's exactly the level of toxicity that I have observed in those communities. Nothing bad. It's just somebody that has a low self-esteem and a low self-worth, and they might be inspired like, hey, I want to do a fast, or I want to eat only fruits, or I want to whatever it is, and you feel inspired, but then it's a slippery slope to then beating yourself up because you're not at a certain level. And so what happens in one's own psyche and what happens inside is that pattern of feeling bad about oneself that comes with the shame continues to be perpetuated. And those are the obstructions that I'm talking about that can be very, very subtle and very much underneath the surface, and actually hinder someone's inspiration to live in a certain way. So then a person, just like in your case, Aline, right? It's like we put all of the focus on the thing, the living foods, or eating this way, or doing a juice cleanse for this amount of days. I'm not saying that those things are not valid and not important and not to be put in place. However, the question to ask oneself is, what is the mental attitude behind it? And if I'm still perpetuating the pattern of feeling shit about myself and actually needing to do something in order to prove something in a very unconscious way. And so the level of consciousness and the energy that is circulating in the system is actually still the same energy of fear, energy of control, and the energy of just feeling shitty about oneself. And that will just lead us nowhere. Of course, it will give us, I mean, we progress along the path always. And we are going to achieve many things. But that was my moment of stopping and reevaluating the why behind my actions and unwinding all those patterns so I can actually be free of them. Because when I am vibrating on the energy of unconditional love and compassion and gentleness and appreciation and gratitude for myself and who I truly am. And like you said, this is who we truly are already. I'm not becoming anything. There's nothing I need to do. Then the doing is going to present itself naturally, meaning that, oh, I'm doing watermelons for 5 days, or whatever it is that the inspiration is going to bring about. And when you see somebody like Aline or whatever it is in the community that you are a part of, that you feel genuinely inspired, and you say, okay, yeah, I'll jump on board, but there's no comparison. And if, let's just say, you have a cooked meal or whatever it is that you do, this is the most important moment to give yourself more love, not less. Because it's that love, exactly, it's that love that is going to help you to overcome whatever patterns and addictions. And if you know deep in your heart, I want to be off the cooked food, or I want to be off the cheese, or whatever it is for you, then it's the loving of yourself in those moments, because you understand where it's coming from. If it's traumas or stress or whatever it is that is your experience, it's just hold that child in your arms, give yourself comfort, knowing that you've got a particular aspiration. It doesn't push that aside, but holding yourself in those moments that you feel weak or whatever it is. And little by little, every time you do that, you bring more light. That's the thing. Love equals light. And when we bring more light, the darkness and the heaviness is just going to leave the temple. And that's what Aline said, like, there won't be any choice. There just won't, it will be obvious. Like, it will be obvious for you what to do, because it will be a natural thing. You'll, even just on a physical level, you'll be that much more drawn to the watermelon. There won't be a thought behind it. You'll be naturally more drawn to the watermelon than the dead piece of meat or the cooked food. You won't be interested anymore. That's the magic. That it's not about like, oh, I got to force myself to want to have the watermelon. No, the magic is that you're going to find yourself, because it sneaks up on you. That's what's so cool. It really sneaks up on you, that you find yourself like, I'm actually not interested in that. Genuinely feeling that from the inside, I have no interest. It's just like if I put a shoe in front of you and ask you to eat it, you're like, I don't want it. Like, it's not appealing to me.
I have struggled with those shoes. I would love to touch on this, if that's okay, because everything you're saying is so golden, and we could definitely use me as an example of everything that you're saying, and just to like bring it home to my own experience. And I'm sure a lot can relate to this, and you helped me with this. And I saw a video that you had made a couple of years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, and you were describing, it was, I call it the tamales story. And this tamales story really stuck with me, because honestly, I was in the midst of my own mental obsessions around food, a lot of judgment around this is good, this is bad, I should be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that. It was very, very rigid in my mind, right? And anyway, I heard you talking about the tamales, where it was like calling you, and at some point, and you were very, very clean, you were like only on fruit, but at some point you were like, I'll just have the damn tamales. Like, let me just have it, let me just get it out of my system and love myself in eating the tamales. And I said, wow, Queen Noa had a tamales. Like, that's a lot of courage right there. And it really sank in my soul, because I've had a few tamales moments since that time I heard it, where I was like, raw vegan, no, you can't sway, you can't come off the path. And I really feel like, and as much as I was like trying to get on the fruit over the last 2 years, trying to get myself back onto the raw foods, I had been raw vegan for 3 years. And then the last 2 years, I've been eating cooked foods and really struggling with that, but in the last month or two, I would say there's been a letting go. I just accepted it. I've just accepted that this is where I'm at. I'm eating the cooked foods. And I had to remove the guilt. I had to somehow find a way to really fully accept myself where I am, just like how I had to accept myself in going back to cannabis, because I went back to smoking marijuana many times, even though I knew it wasn't good for me, even though I knew there was so many consequences. But the last time I ever smoked, I went into it with that love for myself. I was like, here I am. I'm using this for comfort. I'm using this because I need it right now. Doesn't mean I'm always going to smoke. I'm not smoking right now. And what really allowed me to let it go, finally, the last time, was really doing it with love, with consciousness, with awareness, bringing light to it and saying, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm going to love myself there. And honestly, the last few months, I've eaten things I have not eaten in years. Like, I wasn't eating bread, pastas, rice. And I'm not necessarily saying go eat those foods. I'm just sharing my own experience, that in order to get to the fruitarian life, the pranic life, I'm going to need to love myself here fully and have that unconditional love for myself to get to that next stage. I was forcing my way to the fruit, in a sense. And it really was like a progression of like seeing different people doing it, releasing some of the fears I had around being all fruit, seeing my amazing soul family, Matthew, Bobby, Faith, Lucia, Ken, being on this lifestyle, Queen Nana, like I'm seeing you all, Noah, like just showing me what's possible, and also giving me so much love for where I'm at. And that love, I'm telling you, this watermelon has been almost effortless. It's been a really natural progression. like I've never experienced before, where even though I had a few like cravings on day 1 or 2 a little bit, but like I got onto day 3 and I'm literally like so liberated. I'm feeling amazing. Like I don't even want it anymore. So I'm continuing on this. And yeah, just to say that like what you're saying rings really home, is really true to me, that I really had to love myself with the cooked foods, with everything that was going on, to so that love carries me forward in a sense. Like I know I'm meant to be a strict fruitarian or whatever we want, you know, I'm not like into the labels as well, but just on the fruit, you know, especially the melons. I felt that before. I felt like you were saying when you did your 20-day water fast, that you saw your trajectory. It's like I've seen that trajectory so many times on the juice cleanses, on the water fast, and yet I was so afraid of letting go. There was still a part of me that wasn't ready to let go. I was still working through some traumas, perhaps, still working through some emotions, but like all that work that I've done on myself is now like, okay, I'm ready. Like I'm fully surrendered. I'm fully ready. I know I got work to do, and this is my highest frequency. I'm not afraid anymore of also stepping into my light, because like sometimes we're afraid of that. We could be afraid of our light. We could be afraid of our power. We could be afraid of all the lives that are being affected by us. It could be overwhelming to do that. So I'm not overwhelmed anymore. I'm here, fully present, fully in my purpose, and feeling so good about stepping into that light. And I really hope to inspire others and help others the same way you've inspired me and helped me to love myself unconditionally at every single stage of this beautiful journey. And to all my friends too, who have supported me and loved me, never judged me for it. I feel like I was really well received, even in the community where I felt like there would be a lot of judgment around that. I was only met with love, you know, which was really like miraculous, I find, because I know there's a lot of like cancel culture out there, and a lot of people that, if anything, my audience grew from being so authentic and being so real. So yeah, I really appreciate that and everything you're saying. So thank you so much for loving me through that, because by loving each other too, by loving each other, by seeing each other and just being like, it's okay, like you're doing great, you're doing amazing. Like just one comment could bring so much love into someone's life. Be like, oh, because we're so used to being punished, maybe like judged for whatever reason. So it's such a beautiful energy to be in at graduation. I feel like I'm ready. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the comments, so you just
Okay.
you
If
just
you go on, yeah, sorry.
oh
If you
yeah,
go
I
on
guess
Facebook, you'll see it. Yes, if you go on the
yeah.
live itself, you'll see it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but
Mhm.
let me know if I miss any questions or anything. Then yeah, just let me know. Let me just turn on the volume here.
I'm seeing mostly comments. Ken is saying, yes, will the fast bring, like to ask ourselves questions behind what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah, it's the why. It really is the why. And
Hmm.
I want to say for something that you just shared, when it comes to love, in your own experience, you know, with the community, that you received so much love and there was no judgment. And obviously, it's like we experience life from where we are at internally, right? So, and I totally get it, because so many are in the same boat of equating, like we believe, there's a belief that I'm only going to be loved if I perform a certain way. That's also where people pleasing comes from, and you kind of like become a puppet on strings. Like I only need to be eating fruits in order to be loved, like whatever it may be. But then again, the motivation is not correct. So like we are become our own, we sabotage our own aspiration, basically. Like, yeah, you saw your trajectory, you know what the truth is, but the motivation and the fuel behind it is still lurking underneath the surface. And all those patterns and all those wounds and all those traumas that are lurking underneath the surface, they start to fester and they rot. You know, there's like rotten material underneath the surface that continue to pollute the entire garden. So it's like you've already seen the vision of the garden, you know how beautiful the flowers can be, but no matter how much water you give them and there's sunlight and you speak to them every day maybe, and it's just like, but they're not like blooming to their full potential. It's because, well, there's still toxic material in the soil that we are not seeing. So we got to dig deeper underneath the surface, take care of those festering in the dark wounds. And then the garden really flourishes to its full potential. And you actually don't need to do as much as you did before. Like, yeah, there's still love required, like love, time, attention. Everything that we give love, time, and attention yields beautiful results. And the first person that needs to be on that list is you.
Hmm. Absolutely. I'm going to read one quick comment that Ken says. He says, the thing is, we can transfer our disordered eating behaviors into fasting if we don't change the ego mind mechanisms that are doing that. We have to transform those patterns by doing the inner work before, during, and after. Definitely agree. Really in line with everything that Noah's talking about. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's it. It's so spot on, Ken. That's exactly what that was my stopping point.
Mm-hmm.
That was my stopping point when I said, Noah, the radical self-honesty right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the driving force for many people, especially again, going back to if you ever had anorexia, if you ever had any distorted relationship with your body, if you come from dancing background, from sports background, bodybuilding, anything to do with the body in that way, there's that thread of I need to prove something. It's a very deep wound in the collective consciousness in general, right? Because it's a very masculine driven society that we were born into, that we live in. And there's an underlying wound of I need to do more, I need to prove something, and I'm not enough if I don't accomplish A, B, and C. And so we can transfer that, just like Ken said, we can definitely transfer that into this whole thing. I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy of love if I haven't fasted for more than 10, 20, 67 days, or if I'm not on all fruits like Bobby is, or it's like, but you are not Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And Noah has her own traumas and Aline has her traumas. Like even what you are saying about having the fear of truly being in your light, that is a very deeply rooted trauma for many women that goes way, way back to past lives and things that have been afflicted up onto us because we were powerful, because we spoke up. So that is the cellular trauma that I'm talking about that is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
And forcing our way to do something just continues to deepen those traumas even more so. But instead of doing that, like take a step back, turn on the light, start bringing more love. Hold that one that is wounded, hold that one that is afraid of the light. Right? It's just like the little kid that is afraid of the monster under the bed. You know that there's no monster. But as a loving mother, what are you just gonna like yank the child out of the bed and like beat them on the head and like, oh, you stupid one, there's no monster? Like, what kind of a mother would do that? But we do that with ourselves, you know, like, hey, how come you didn't do like 100 and bazillion days on watermelon? You know, you're such a piece of shit. No, you know, there's like the little child inside of us really believes that there's monster under the bed. So we gently turn on the light. You know, we hold that little child and you like, you see, there's no monster under the bed. You are safe. You are so safe here.
Mm-hmm.
But it might take a few nights, you know, and when we translate that to our human experience, we have an idea of time, like, how come I'm not there already? But there's nowhere to go. You're already perfect, complete, whole, divine light already here.
Mm-hmm.
And we are lovingly removing whatever it is that is blocking
Mm-hmm.
that light from fully infusing every fiber of our being.
I love that. Hey, where are we going? We're not going anywhere. We're already there. We're already whole. Even when we were talking about um, being single, you know, I was like, oh, I'm single now. And you're like, I'm not single, I'm whole. Like,
Yeah,
I'm whole. I don't need anybody to complete me. I don't need anybody. Like, I'm already whole. Like, there's no one to there's no one that I need. Like the divine union is within ourselves, and that's really the absolute ultimate is to merge that feminine and masculine within ourselves. And if somebody comes along the way that wants to add to our amazing experience that we're already having of life, great, you know. However, they have to be very aligned with us. They have to be like, you know, it has to be a very elevated, conscious kind of partner, you know, at the stage that we're at. And not everybody's going to fit that criteria, even though they may want to. They may want to be in your presence, they may want to be in your light, but we have to really protect our energy at all costs. And that's another really important part of like loving our way. I love how you say like to remove those distractions, to remove the drama and the negative people in our life, to actually leave those relationships that are causing us harm. So many of us are doing so good with like the food, and then we come home and we're in a very toxic relationship. So that could really affect our nervous system. It could impede on our healing. It could definitely have like an effect on our mental health, on our self-esteem, all of that. So there's layers upon layers to this self-love. It's not just about the food, right? And also, I just wanted to touch and segue into our beautiful surprise that we are going to share with you today, that the more we tap into our own light, the more miracles start to happen around us, right? And the more like opportunities start to present themselves and things start to weave together. You know, a lot of us feel like we're here for a big purpose, for a mission, and we don't really know where to turn. We're like, I don't know. I know I'm here to help people. I'm not sure really what that's going to look like. And I always encourage people, and me being the first one to do this, just build friendships, build real, authentic relationships around you. That's what this life is all about, right? And it's not just about like, oh, I'm going to make money with this, and oh, can I network with this person? It's really like build genuine relationships, and doors are going to naturally open up. And that's what I've been experiencing in my life, you know, not having like 100% a clear plan of like how I'm going to get to the healing center and community, for example. Like I know that's my mission, and I've been just manifesting the tribe, manifesting the people that want to do this. I've been thinking about hosting, going traveling around the world. I wasn't sure how that was going to happen. We are now in the new age of divine intervention and divine connections, and really like synchronicities that are happening between people, and powerful soul connections that are happening. And we've definitely been experiencing that with each other. And, you know, even the talk of what we are going to, you know, speak on to share with you, like that came from intuition. That came from a true place of like our heart just saying yes to this collaboration to help others. So I don't want to say too much. I would like you to introduce it to our
Well,
to our people.
actually, before we go
Yeah.
there, because this is actually very important, that, yeah, loving oneself is so much more than just the food. As I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier, this is
Yeah.
my temple. This is your temple. And when I say this, it's the field, it's everything, it's your life. The body is one aspect, the physical is only one aspect. And there's a lot to be said about anything that we allow into the temple. And we can have a separate conversation about that, Aline. But
Yes.
when it comes, when we go deeper into like sexual connections and things like that, but when it comes to relationships, the people that you surround yourself with, and especially, I mean, the more intimate it is, the closer it is, the more it penetrates your field, literally. But just any relationship in your life, the people in your life, they bring energy in. And so just like with the food, it's important to discern. It's all about discernment. I'm not so big on like put boundaries or protections or things like that. It's more about refining our level of discernment. Just like when I put watermelon in front of you or a dead piece of meat, there's this internal inclination, like this knowing, oh, of course the watermelon is going to nourish me a lot more. So same thing applies to relationship. We can just intuitively feel, tuning in with ourselves. Do I feel nourished by this conversation? Do I feel nourished by being with this individual?
Mhm.
Right. And just like with the food, with relationships, it can be very challenging sometimes to let go, right? To let go of that attachment, because there's a deeper knowing inside, this is not nourishing me. This is not helping me to expand my light. And so it is very true what you said, Aline, that this is the age of divine connections and sacred connections and soul family finding each other, because there's a very, very, very specific mission for any particular pod. And people coming together. We know, you and I, it's a lot to do with the Essenes and Christ consciousness, and the people that resonate with that mission. So that's true. And at the same time, just like you experienced in your life, and I definitely experienced in my life, there is a period of isolation. There is a period, which is not a bad thing in our society. It's like, if you're alone, then something is wrong. It's a crucial step. And actually, Dr. Morris speaks about this quite extensively, that when it comes to our spiritual evolution and our spiritual purification, that goes hand in hand with the bodily purification. In the society that we live in this day and age, it's like a necessary thing to be alone for a period of time. And even Yeshua went into the desert solo. Why is that? Because it's needed to be alone in your own energy field to allow that purification to take place, and to, more than anything else, really find that true essence of who you are, with no other influences or interference from the outside. And once you are that much more strong within yourself and centered within yourself, and your nervous system, it's a huge one, is really more stable, then you step back out from a solid place. And what happens then is also your magnetic field is that much more amplified, and it's going to magnetize those that, like you said, are in true alignment. It's effortless.
Yes.
And then we flow together with the river. But it's crucial. It's very crucial. And I'm saying this also, if you're finding yourself, some that might be listening, if you're finding yourself alone or in isolation or feeling like that, just know that this is a part of the journey. Doesn't mean that it's going to be like that for the rest of your life. And I can't even tell you just how much aloneness I've experienced in the last few years. And I'm an introvert as well. So I love my alone time and being solo. I love that. And we are also, as human beings, we are social creatures, and we thrive on connections. But the right connections, the connections that actually nourish us. Right? So I had this one yoga teacher that kept saying this all the time, and it just stuck with me all these years. He used to say, an empty barn is that much better than a barn filled with crazy cows.
Yeah.
And he related that to what I'm speaking about. It's like, you're better off alone for whatever period of time than just being surrounded by crazy cows, basically. Like find the cows that you can peacefully hang out with and joyfully hang out with, and you like vibing on the same frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been through that period of solitude. I resonate a lot with that for years and years. And I've often wondered, like, moving back from Belize to Montreal, I had a lot of friends in Belize, and I loved my friends there. And a lot of it was parties, and like, I wasn't sure like how maybe deep our friendships were. Like, they were beautiful, and I loved them. And then coming back to Montreal, I had lost a lot of my high school friends. I wasn't really surrounded. The friends I made were the ones I made in rehab. Like, I had to build my own new network, and really, I didn't have a lot of friends, maybe one or two, one of which was Anne-Sophie, who recently passed away, and it was just like, I found myself to be very alone. And even that friendship was difficult because she was always in the hospital. So it's not like we could go and like do fun things together. You know, she was very bound. So I definitely found myself very alone, and learning to be happy on my own. Like I started talking to myself. I started like, you know, doing all these things where like I would never do that before. Where like I really started to enjoy my own company. So now I feel like I'm much more selective with who I allow in my life and who I share my energy with, because I recognize like how important I am to myself. And yeah, like it's beautiful. We all have to go through that. And me too. I'm a bit of a, I grew up an introvert and then I became more of an extrovert, but I'm definitely like very shy at heart. Like I'm very much of an introvert. I love being alone, and I like the extreme too. I'm a Pisces. So like I like the noise, I like the music, I like the dancing, I like those crowds. And then at some point I'm just like, oh, okay, time to like retreat back into my space and be with myself again. So I like those extremes, but it's definitely important to take time for ourselves. And I realized how hard it was at the beginning too, to do that, because I was always like on the party mode. I had 2 businesses I was running, constantly seeing people every single day. And then I found myself in Montreal, not working, in an apartment, just in like sober living, trying to rebuild my life, and with no one around me. You know, I had my family, of course, but it was necessary. It was absolutely necessary to be where I am today, and to rebuild healthier connections, and to rebuild healthier friendships, and to communicate better, all of that. Like I learned that by really learning to communicate with myself first. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, because everything is just an extension, and our society is just like it's built on achievements, and you got to do, you got to prove, very masculine. It also is about being alone is not okay. And then you feel like something is wrong with you if you are alone. And it's just like society that is based on endless distractions,
Mm.
distracting the individual from their own source, from their own temple. And we can do it with food, we can do it with relationships, we can do it with businesses. It's really all about the relationship that we have with that thing. So it's not about being a monk in a cave, unless that's your destiny and that's your calling. Then by all means, you know, enjoy. But again, it's like this authentic, it's an authentic expression of oneself. Like if that's your calling, that's your calling. That's why there's no comparison, and it's not that one is better than the others. And it might be that you might be a monk for a period of time, and then you come out into the world, and vice versa. So it's all about tuning in to oneself. But if there's so much noise inside and outside, how can one actually tune into the true voice and what it's saying?
Mm.
And that's the whole game about, is to have enough quiet inside and not to have all those distractions on the outside taking you away, or all that noise taking away from actually listening and knowing and discerning what is the voice of truth inside of me that is guiding me to what God has placed in my heart. And
Be
that requires
still.
solitude. Yes, that
Just
requires stillness. That requires self-honesty,
mhm.
and having the ability and the courage to let go of those things that only bring more noise into one's life, and take out or take away from that centered place inside.
Mm.
And
That's why I
again, it's
love.
like we got to strengthen that in order to, because if it's not your role to be a monk in a cave, is that you're able to be out in the world but not get all like frazzled by it
That's
in
why I
the
love
in the world that we
meditation
live
so
in.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
meditation is so important to that. You know, I just wanted to touch on that. If anybody's wondering how to find stillness, you know, if you have that monkey brain, you know, like we all have that monkey mind that's always chattering, just taking a few moments every day to be in that stillness, you know, to be without the distraction. Even if you start with 5 minutes and then you work your way up. I know you've done some Vipassana retreats as well, 10 days of silence, you know, something like that would be a great powerful tool to help you to really reconnect with yourself. I'm definitely feeling called to do one. I haven't done one yet, but even in your day-to-day life, like just taking that 10 minutes a day in silence and stillness, and even like just observing your thoughts, starting to be aware that you are the observer of your thoughts, that you are not your thoughts. That's a big one. You know, a lot of the time we're just like victim of our thoughts in a sense, until we empower ourselves, until we realize that we are spirit, we are consciousness, we are pure consciousness observing. We could observe ourselves and be like, oh, there's a thought. Like, I don't have to get attached to it. I don't have to get caught up in the drama of it. I could just watch it pass like a cloud. Oh, look at that. There's nothing. Like, there's going to be moments where there's going to be nothing. And then there's going to be moments where thoughts come up. But just taking that changed my life. Like, just to notice that I am the observer and I am not, and I can actually change my thoughts. I can actually change what's coming up in my mind. If I think like, oh, you're doing this and you're so stupid, for example, I'll be like, oh, did I just insult myself? Like, am I just being mean to myself? Like, where did that come from? And be like, you're not stupid. Like, you're amazing. You're smart. You're doing your best. You're growing. You're learning. Like, just try to change that story, because I had the worst story in my head. I was very negative with myself, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize how mean I was to myself. And then all of, like you said, my whole reflection of my life was a reflection of that. I was in a very abusive relationship, with a very controlling man. I was drinking, smoking, doing drugs, binging and purging. There was just like all these reflections of my self-talk in my life. That was a manifestation of really what was coming from within. And now that I'm like learning to talk better to myself, like everything is starting to change, the quality of my friendships. I'm not in a toxic relationship, making money, like all these things are coming from me just being kinder to myself. So our thoughts literally control our reality. Not control, but they affect our reality. Our reality is a absolute. And even saying like, I don't trust people. I used to say that a lot. Like, I don't trust people. I still sometimes let it slip because people are people. But I had to be mindful of even those words, because what was I attracting? People I couldn't trust. So now I've been like, no, people are trustworthy. I am aligning and attracting people who do love me, who genuinely really want my best interest at heart, that I can trust. And that's a belief as well, to believe like people are trustworthy. There are good people in this world who don't want to harm me. So that's all been like a work in progress. And I'm seeing the fruits of that. Around me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the devotion that's being devoted to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then covering all those pieces that you're talking about. And what you said about the meditation is so true, the being the observer, because we can apply that to cravings, just like the thoughts, right? It might be a little bit more difficult because cravings have many different layers to them. They come from the physical level, they come from the emotional, they come from the psychological, they come from a nervous system level of instability. So it's a very strong force when it comes to cravings. But meditation is one of the keys to start creating more distance.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not just like we are not identified with the thought, then we become less identified with the craving. So when something does come up, we develop the ability to be the observer and like, oh wow, look at that cute craving. Oh, so cute. Wow, you want you want salt? Oh, really? You want the cooked food? And it's like, but this is where the masculine and the feminine come together, and there's a dance, because I see a lot of people also going to the extreme of bypassing, or just this denial, basically just being the observer, and that's a very masculine approach, and we got to blend the two in order to create harmony. So the observer is the masculine. It's like that, that father energy of observing everything from a higher vantage point, seeing the craving, knowing that that's not me. That's not me. But then also embracing the little one that is like, why are you craving it? Oh, you feeling sad. Oh, you feeling unseen. You feeling triggered because A, B, and C. That in that moment, that craving might be coming from a deep emotional place that is asking for our attention. So sometimes just being the observer is like kind of walking around what is actually asking for attention. So one of the practices that I give people is, and that I do is, you put your hands on your heart and like, what do I need? What do you need, sweetie? And speaking to that little one inside of you, what do you need? If it's a craving, if it's an emotion, whatever. But if we just keep with the cravings here, is What do you really need, sweetie? Because you know that it's not the salt that you need. You know that it's not the cooked food. What do you really, really need? And listen, even if you end up having the salty whatever or the cooked food or whatever it is, but even that step alone starts to change something on the inside. Because for some people, this is like something that they've never asked themselves and no one has ever asked them. What do you truly need, sweetie? I'm here to support you. Like, when was the last time, for some people, no one has ever said that to them, let alone they've never said that to themselves. I'm here with you. What do you truly need? I'm here with you. Just
Wow.
talk to me, baby. You know, like, and we do this day in and day out, and that's the love. That's when we, again, bringing more love in, more light in, and then those choices that don't truly nourish us will not have room to exist. It's a simple equation, but it's a matter of making the commitment and just say, you know what, I'm devoted to myself, and then we pray to God. And like you said, Aline, our words are very powerful. So I use affirmations as well. It's speaking to God and also claiming, I now make choice. I only make choices that fully nourish me on all levels. I only make choices that amplify my light. And then we let it go. And we trust fully, wholeheartedly that God has our back, front, and all sides. And that we will align with that path. We will align with those choices, because that's a powerful prayer. I am now making only choices that amplify my light.
Wow.
Rather than like, you know, my goal is to be a fruitarian. Well, you want to be happy and in touch with yourself and make the best choices for yourself. And that is that much more powerful than having a particular goal that puts us in a particular box. Well, the fruits are just going to help you to amplify the light.
This is so powerful. Absolutely powerful. You have dropped some gems. You're sharing some powerful gifts. And actually, speaking of gifts, I did want to mention that Sis Faith put in the comments earlier that the word present can mean two things. It can mean a present as a gift, and also present as the present moment, which is so cool too, because the two are so intertwined as well.
That's
I could not
right,
think
Faith.
of many other words, but yeah, she brought a present to our attention. So this is so cool to, you know, the biggest present is the present moment.
That is so, of course, Faith will come up with that. Genius.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we have light and we have present.
Exactly.
And the present of light is the light of the present.
Yeah. And Matthew says he's extending his fast because of this talk. Way to go,
Oh,
Matthew.
awesome.
Yes.
That's great, Matthew.
So
Just
good.
curious, Matthew, what are you doing? Is it water only? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You know, and this is the beautiful thing about community and about support, is that inspiration. You know, it sparks something inside of us, and like Matthew said here, it's giving me more fuel to do whatever it is, but it's not from a place of comparison, right? It's like, wow, Aline is doing just watermelons, and that feels good, and that's giving me motivation to, ah, I'll just do 3 days on watermelons and see what happens. You know, it's like, play with it, you guys. It's like we are taking all of this way too seriously. And this is part of the patriarchy, you know, again, suppressing the feminine, suppressing the innocence inside of us. Let us remember that we are children of light, and we came here to play in the Garden of Eden. It's not like Eden is just going to drop on us one day. We are here to create it, but we create it through our consciousness. So let us not take any of this too seriously. I mean, yeah, we're going to go deep. It's rich, like like Aline says, it's rich, and we're going to go deep. And yes, there's some murky waters to kind of swim in a little bit, but even all of that can be done from a light place, from a childlike curiosity. Like, ooh, let's see what's down in the dungeon, you know?
Yeah. I love that. I mean, that could be like a whole other episode if we ever want to talk about that another time. Like, you know, even God, like he says, only those who like return to their childlike innocence can even enter the kingdom of heaven, you know? And it's like, we have to find that joy, that bliss, that inner return. It's like the return to innocence, you know, the return to innocence before we got hurt, before we got traumatized, before all the darkness of the world got to us, right? And weighed us down. It's like, who were we? We're pure. We are pure light. We are pure love. We are just naturally very loving, trusting individuals. And we just need to like come together with other loving, trusting individuals. And that helps to heal the trauma as well. You know, we heal trauma through healthy relationships. We heal trauma through friendships, through nourishing friendships where we feel safe, where we feel seen, where we feel heard, as opposed to what we may have experienced in our life. So, and it's about like building that confidence in ourselves. Like, you know, Matthew feels more confident and he believes in himself that much more after hearing us and seeing what's possible. And if y'all hear what Noa does every day, you will be inspired, because she's basically like, can I say like that
Right.
you basically like she only consumes like watermelon juice at this point, if
Well, at this
anything.
point, I'm just on liquids, yeah, and, if I do eat solid, at this point, it's only avocados, and it's like a window of 2 or 3 hours, so it's, yeah, basically anywhere between 20 to 24 hours.
Mhm,
That is not even a fast for me anymore. I genuinely just not interested in anything,
mhm,
and that's what I'm saying. It's just like a natural thing. I let go of everything. Like, I'm gonna do this amount of days and this amount of days, and just naturally, I just found myself kind of like, yeah, just consuming in a window of 3 hours or something like that, and feeling like super sustained and more strong than ever, and having tremendous amount of energy. And just like, again, I talked about this on Monday, Aline, right? Like, just seeing the mental attachments, and the more than anything else is like, it's a version of ourselves that we are saying goodbye to, and that's why we got to be gentle. It's that version of yourself that still wants the cooked food, that still wants the soul, that whatever it is, because there's an underlying reasons for that, for why you still want the A, B, and C.
mm,
And so to just be gentle and knowing that there's a mourning process, there's a version of myself that I am saying goodbye to.
yeah.
And the food just represents, or it's a piece of the puzzle in that version of oneself. And when we know on a subconscious level that when we say goodbye to that one piece, we're going to say goodbye to other pieces. And so there's that, again, that little child that doesn't want to let go of the security blankie. So you don't yank that security blankie out of the child's arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bring that love to ourselves constantly, again and again and again. And that's the key. That's the key. And I love what you said, Aline, like the child, the innocence. The funny thing is that the child is the one that is holding the key to the kingdom. So if
Yes.
we keep traumatizing the child,
Mhm.
then the child is like, I'm not giving you the freaking key.
Mm. Ooh.
Right? Exactly. It's like, I want to feel safe here,
Mhm.
Mr. and Miss Missy. I want to feel safe here. Show me that I can trust you. I'll give you the key.
Wow.
Show me that you love me, that you care about me.
Mhm.
And then I'll give you the key and we play together. But you keep
Yeah.
ignoring the child, you keep
Yes.
neglecting the child, you keep abusing the child, or just traumatizing it.
Hmm.
Then would you want to give the key to somebody that treats you like that?
Mm.
F that. I don't want to give that person the key to my heart.
Mm.
I'm not going to give this person the key to my queendom.
Mm-mm.
But we bring that child, and it's a relationship that this is our journey to heal that relationship with that innocence inside, aka that little child. And that the whole time it's like, here, the key is in my hand, but you're ignoring me, so you're not even seeing that I'm holding the key to your very
Mhm.
kingdom that is gonna unleash everything
Mhm.
that God has planted in your heart.
I felt that. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Inner
oh,
child work, inner child play. The other day we did like
okay.
a vision board, and I hadn't played in a long time. And then I do have to, I've tried to like reconnect, not try, like I have been reconnecting a lot more with my inner child, even like choosing things that are pink, playing with my daughter. We went to like this claw place where we got to like choose, you have to like get the toys. There's like these whole places now where you could go get, and I had so much fun. And just like choosing things, like I'll buy little pens with, like I have a little fidget spinner that like I play with. Like I'm just like finding ways to just play and have more fun, be in nature, tap into that child, because she's right there and she's so happy. And sometimes I have conversations where I'm like, oh, I don't really need that. And I hear her, and she's like, but I want it. And I'll like get it for her. Like I literally hear her. I hear my little girl. I hear my nickname is Leanie. And my family, only my family knows this, but like they call me Leanie. So I'm like, oh, little Leanie wants a little toy. Like I'm gonna get Leanie a little toy. I'm gonna get her this. Like, too bad. I don't care what people think. Like, she needs nourishment, and I feel like a lot of us had to grow up very fast. I was the eldest of 4 kids. I grew up very fast. I had a lot of responsibilities. I was changing diapers at the age of 9. I was like my little brother's mommy, and I feel like that created a certain block in my childhood too, where like I'm rediscovering how to be a child, and I love that, I love that. And it also allows me to have the courage to even like come on live now. A kid falls when they're trying to walk, they have that intrinsic courage that I feel a lot of us have lost in our adult life, because we're so scared of being judged. We're so scared of making mistakes. We're so scared of tripping and falling, saying the wrong thing, right? And so really tapping into my child was like, go on live, even if you make mistakes. Like you may trip and fall, and like that's okay. So I got you. So like reparenting myself with that little child, and just allowing myself to be goofy, to be myself, to be light. And it's so powerful, everything you're saying. I would love to talk more about inner child, and also, oh my God, everything. We could like elaborate on so much of what we said and do like so many different talks on it. But
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the couple of things that we have up our sleeves that we've been talking about is number one, to have, and you can even say in the comments, you guys, if you would like Aline and I to be here more on a regular basis, and we will actually have topics that
Yes,
we speak about, because there's so many threads we can talk now for 6 hours. We can probably sit here all day, because
we
it's
could.
like there's so many different rabbit holes to go into. And so one of the things that Aline and I have been conversing about and contemplating is to have a regular show, like a weekly or bi-weekly, in which we have these topics that we talk about, and for you guys to also ask questions. And if you have particular topics that you would like us to go into, then it's a collaborative process of all
Mhm,
of us. And Aline and
mhm.
I are just kind of like the ones bringing it forth on the camera, but it's all of us together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing. And then the other thing, and the little surprise that we have that I'm just so super stoked about, is that yeah, and we are getting here, yes, for that, Aline, by the way, that it would be amazing to see you two host and speak again. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. I mean, Aline is a soulmate, the Durian brought us together, so obviously it's meant to be. Um, for
That's
all of you
great.
that know what I'm talking about, the
Oh,
durian.
man.
Yeah.
I'm having durian cravings right now. Oh,
Oh, and they will
so
come
cute.
soon.
I like how you said that earlier. I was like so laughing, like so cute. Oh, there is a craving. I'm gonna start saying that from now on, instead of being like, damn you, stupid craving. I'll be like,
No, but
oh,
this is
so
all of it, like
cute.
how we speak to ourselves all the time.
Mm,
Everything is like, start changing the program. If it's internal voices, if it's the external voices, and yeah, like why deeming the craving as bad, because it's coming from a deeper place, right? So when we bring even the attitude of like, oh, look at that cute craving, like a cute thought, or I speak to myself all the time. You said that you started talking to myself. I mean, people probably think I'm insane if they were looking at me from the outside. I constantly like having a conversations with myself and laughing with myself. It's like that lightheartedness that we gotta bring in. It's
yeah.
that, don't take any of this too seriously. Oh wow, this craving again. Oh, great. You're
Mhm.
awesome. Thanks. I already told you that you've been fired, but you keep coming back. Oh my gosh.
Persistent are we?
Persistent. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So more to come. Basically, Aline and I will have these conversations on a more regular basis because I know that it lights me up, and I love
Mhm.
sharing this, and I love Aline as my partner. Just doing this together, side by side, for sure. It's that much more entertaining and fun than doing it alone.
You're so amazing. I feel really, really lucky and really honored that we have this friendship, that we have this connection, that we feel, I love the word that you used before, like alignment, that we really feel like aligned with each other's missions. I have been looking up to you so much as an incredible, incredible mentor, as a great teacher. Queen Noa has an amazing community as well, Purification to Detoxification. So please check out her group as well. Like, you're a community leader, you are a powerful speaker and teacher on this, and it's just like such an honor to be your friend, you know. And I'll just share very like humbly that it took me like some time to even feel worthy of this friendship, because I had Noah in such like high regards, and I even was like, I'm not as smart as her. I don't speak as well as her. Like, what does she see in me? You know, like, what does she see in me? And, you know, we had this conversation. She's like, well, I see the light in you. I see your beauty, your grace, your heart, you like all of these things. And like, you've really helped me to really believe in myself a lot, and to see that we all have our own individual gifts, you know, and we're all so different. And I am not you, you are not me, and we are not like meant to be like anybody else. And still we could see that divine light inside each other. So thank you so much. And you definitely inspire me to learn more, to grow more, so that I can continue to elevate myself and to new heights on all levels, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And you not once judged me. You never once made me feel any kind of way for anything. And that's just like a really beautiful, safe space to be in. Mm-hmm.
Mm, thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to speak like me, then what's the point? You know, then I can just why would that be interesting?
We do sound a little bit alike sometimes, though. I'm like, okay, she speaks my language. We definitely.
Oh, because it goes way beyond the language.
Mhm.
It's the words that you hear. We do speak the
Yeah.
same language, the language of the heart, and
Mhm.
that's the vibe that we resonate on,
Yes.
you and I.
Yes.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
that frequency. So the words
Definitely.
that I utter and the words that you utter might sound different, but it's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same vibration, just of the heart, and that's the
Mhm.
soul tribe. Yeah, yeah.
I can't wait to meet you in person. I can't wait to give you a big hug, and everything that we have, you know, been talking about is really manifesting into a physical expression of all of this, you know, us coming together in a real way, us creating spaces to welcome others to come and be in our energies, to come and be in each other's energies, eat fruit, drink the juice, the coconut water, be in silence. And so we're so excited to be co-creating this together in the, you know, divine feminine, in the spirit of the divine feminine, really calling in like our soul tribe, who are wanting to heal, wanting to learn new tools, wanting to love themselves more, travel to beautiful exotic places. So I'm so excited about that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, the first it's been coming together behind the scenes since last year,
Mm-hmm.
basically, since we connected when I was in Bali, and the durian brought us together, and it was durian season in Bali, and that's how we
Yes.
started. That's how we started to connect. And
I had a
Aline even said on the message, like, "Oh my God, I've been wanting to come to Bali." And I said, "Come,"
yes.
but that was last year, so it wasn't the divine timing. But yeah, you wanted to say something?
I was just gonna say my picture was like a picture of like my frozen durian in like a little container, and then she sends me a picture of like 10 whole beautiful durians on her table, and I'm like, this is you? This is you right now? Like you have this like right there in front of you? It was just so funny.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was basically
yeah.
that was the time, I had just completed, like 120 days on juice, and then all I wanted solid, because I was still drinking juice, and all I wanted solid-wise was durian,
Yeah.
and so I was just obsessed, and I had so many durians on in my kitchen table. Faith is saying, "Let's all go to Malaysia." So,
Yeah.
Faith, this is what's happening. Um, is that Aline and I are going to come together in Bali in November, and we're going to have an immersion that will
Ooh.
include, it's going to be eight, most likely 8 days. The details are still coming together in terms of dates and how long, but most likely it's going to be 8 days. And it's going to consist of everything that we talked about today, that basically is how to love our way back to ourselves. It's like more than health. Health will just be a vibrant health, will just be a byproduct of you shining in your most glorious light. And so it's a nectar of life immersion, the first out of many,
Mhm.
and Bali is going to be the first destination. And we are going to have all fruits. And Bali, of course, has amazing fruits, and it's going to be peak durian season in November. And what we are going to bring into this experience is, yes, we're going to have just fruits, but we're also going to offer a few days on only coconut water or only watermelon juice or both. And we're going to have a day of silence and many different practices to assist the process, different sessions as well, like water therapy, different massages, and really getting in touch with who we truly are and how to care for ourselves on all levels. So if you were inspired from this 1 hour and a half talk, then you can only imagine what will happen in 8 days. It's more than just an immersion, and it's more than just an experience. It's really um, getting you to a place in which will be the catalyst to a new height. And what's important for us also, because there are many experiences out there obviously, but what's important for us is to help people after the experience, like the integration time. So Aline and I are offering, we're going to have support prior. So 2 weeks before the gathering, we'll have the group together and how to prepare and all of that, answering questions and different tools that we are going to provide. And then post immersion, we're going to have a couple of weeks in which we still together come together on Zoom and just making sure that we're still in that energy. And it's going to be a gorgeous location in Bali. Again, we are looking at different places still, and but rest assured that it's going to be absolutely epic. And there will be a durian party at some point. But yeah, it's a detoxification, but at the same time, it really all about the nectar of life, and it's that nectar of life inside of you, and you are the chalice. So it's just fine tuning and polishing that chalice to contain that nectar of life that is ever flowing and overflowing from the inside.
Oh, I
Yeah,
am
so that's what's
jumping
happening
for
in November.
joy.
And yes, and um I must be at that's this durian party. Yeah, so definitely contact either Aline, if you're coming from her side, or if you're watching in my group or on my page. Contact me or Aline for more information. We're still, as I said, fine tuning the details and all of that, and more information will be out there. But in the meantime, if you are interested, then just
Yeah.
reach out to us, and we can share more. But
Yes.
yeah, that's just like the highlight of my life in this now
Yeah,
moment.
you do.
I'm just so excited to come together and share all this love and share this
Yeah.
nectar.
Mm. So sweet, so delicious, so rich, so sultry, everything. It's all about like coming home to the nectar within ourselves. And that's exactly what you're doing, what we're doing for ourselves, for the world. It is so beautiful. I see Faith saying, Durian party, my oh my, I am screaming. I've been
Yeah.
screaming inside too, like the greatest, just, you know, laughter, joy has come over me. I've always dreamed of doing retreats. I was trying to like set one up in Belize last year, and it just didn't feel aligned. I much rather do this in partnership with somebody that I love and trust, and we co-create something really, really beautiful together. And Ken and I have always also spoken about retreats, so we will definitely do one, Ken, as well. We will be like creating all these. Well, we're not really using the word retreat; we're using the word immersion. Sorry, I'm just so used to the word retreat. But these experiences, it's really like an opportunity to change our life, you know, to come together and co-create and just like absorb each other's beautiful light and love and share with each other. I've been on different experiences like this, and I have been changed from them, you know, from yoga to meditation to plant medicine, where I came out and I was a whole new person, you know, and more people are looking for these types of experiences. They don't just want to go to like an all-inclusive resort and just eat, eat, eat. It's really like, it's all about being in these magical places and learning a new way to connect with ourselves, with nature, and each other. So thank you so much for, you know, inviting me to collaborate in this. I think it is going to be the most amazing experience ever, you know, for everyone who wants to come. You know, it's definitely been a talk in the communities too, like where are we going to meet, where are we going to get together. We've been talking about coming together in Belize as well to come see the land, come see the space. So this is the next level. It's like, okay, we fell in love with each other, and now it's like, okay, it's time to take it to that next place of being with each other in each other's presence, creating these immersions, these experiences, and you know, the community that's coming together, a physical community. Like, it is happening, and I praise God. I got chills. I've just been like divinely guided and divinely led to this, not really fully knowing how it was going to manifest. But you know, God told me, you will know them by their fruits. And Queen Noa, you have been bearing the most beautiful fruits, and I trust you with all my heart. I love you with all my heart. I'm so, so grateful. Like, you've literally saved my life, you know, many times over. And I'm so grateful for our beautiful friendship and everything that we're going to do together, coming from that place again, coming back to like the divine sacred connection, right? Like, none of us planned this, you know. When we became friends, it was just like, oh my God, you love durian too, you know, I love you. Let's talk about durian. Let's talk about Bali. But it wasn't like there was no thought around that, you know. I wasn't thinking like, oh, me and Noah could write a book together. Like, it wasn't, you know, immediate. But after that, I was like, oh, like soul sister, like we have work and play to do here in this realm together. And it became very, very obvious to us. And now it's like the the manifestation of that is coming to fruition. So we will be setting a date very soon. We will be having more information very, very soon to share with you. So I am so excited to meet all of you, to be in each other's presence, and to be in beautiful Bali. And side note, I was supposed to be in Bali 2 weeks ago with my twin flame, and that kind of fell through. So this is how the universe works too. Like, I was literally supposed to be there, and I reached out to Noa and I was like, oh, I'm going to come see you in Bali. And she wasn't there. So I was like, oh, well, that sucks. Like, I don't want to go to Bali and she's not there too. So 2 days before I was supposed to leave, we broke up, me and my guy. So we are no longer together. I have credit to go anywhere I want on Air France, and I need to use it before next February. So this is going to be perfect. And this is the timing that I'm supposed to be in Bali, right? I was called to Bali. However, it wasn't my timing, it was God's timing. So we have God's timing at play, and I will be super excited to go visit Bali. It's always been my dream, and even more to do it with you and whoever feels aligned and wants to come in and be with us.
Yes, all in divine orchestration and
Yes.
divine timing. Absolutely. Yeah. And in terms of dates, that if you are interested, that you can start thinking in that direction, and things will come together just in the next couple of weeks for sure. But it's mid-November, probably around the 15th, or it might start on the 23rd. But 8 days, most likely mid-November into the third week of November, which is a very powerful week energetically as well. So yeah, that's the timing.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm like already packing. I'm going to start counting down the days today.
Pack light.
I got my backpack. That's all I need. I'm just going with a backpack.
Yeah, I'm still working on that one, on packing light, because I travel with a juicer, and that's a piece of
Yes.
heavy
Same.
machinery. But hey, soon
I
enough
know.
that will drop as well. So, but yeah, pack light.
Yes. I know. That is my biggest piece of equipment. No lie. When I go anywhere, I do bring, like, if I'm bringing my juicer, I'm definitely bringing like a big suitcase. Sometimes I
Yeah.
carry on because I know I'm going to be shopping or whatever. So
Yeah, well, but if you come to the immersion, well, not just you, Aline, but if whoever is coming to the immersion, you don't need to pack a juicer, because you're going to have plenty of juices, amazing juices, all the time, all day, every day.
mm. Oh, it's going to be absolutely magical. I could just like taste the fruit. I could just taste the fruit and I could feel the energy, could feel the sun on my skin. And it's going to be absolutely spectacular
Yep.
of coming together. I'm seeing some of the comments. Queen Hui says, what a powerful, energetic presence. This will be all of this energy in one space. I love this. Matthew says, hold on, he made a funny comment earlier. Let me read it. He said, I got to get my bread up. He wants to come back. We got you manifesting. We'd love to have all of you there with us. Yes, it will be spiritual. Queen Nana is asking if it will be like a spiritual retreat.
What do you mean by that? Because I want to first clarify what you mean by spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can answer that more.
Okay.
What do you mean by that? Because I want to.
If you could clarify, Nana.
Oh, here we go.
Faith was planning to go to Malaysia in November, so it's amazing. This is
Yep.
happening at the same time.
Well, Faith, yeah, Aline is going to talk to you, and we the three of us are going to have a conversation. But yes, let's just say God is guiding you to Bali instead. Mm-hmm. I'll just say that for now.
Matthew said, I was going to say something like this. Matthew said, you will definitely tap into spirit on a retreat.
Yeah.
Noah and myself, it will definitely be spiritual.
Yeah. So who asked about the spiritual? You said Nani?
Nigeria. Yeah, her nickname
Nigeria.
is
Nani.
Nigeria. Mm-hmm.
So let me just answer that. Yes, the definitely. I don't know what you mean by spiritual, and you can answer that at some point. But there will be, just like we were talking here today, because health is so much more than just food. So it really is all about the soul, and that's what I see as spiritual. So yeah, we're gonna have the components of meditation, like we were talking here today. It's a crucial piece in the equation. We're going to have yoga and movement. I am trained in many different yoga modalities, and I blend many different things, but it really is just all about, we'll have yoga, but we'll also have very intuitive movement and moving the body and tuning into the body. And there's going to be the element of sound and music and sound frequencies and work as a group, partner work with one another, and then invitations to do self-inquiry. And we're going to have a lot of fun, which is very spiritual. A lot of laughter, a lot of dancing, and coming back home to ourselves. So you can call that spiritual, but yeah, definitely just reminding ourselves, just the kids that we are, or the children of light. I'm like to say kids, the children of light that we are, and spark that light inside each and every one of us.
Beautiful. You've answered her question. She did comment. She was thinking of meditation, yoga. things like that I've been seeing people put together, things like that. So yes, you've answered her without even seeing the comment. So absolutely.
Awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely Nigeria. Those are all the tools that I use and that I offer, and the retreat will consist of all those tools that that I am proficient in and that I see the value in. And I love Faith saying this is a life retreat. Boom.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Well,
Yes. So if
yeah.
you're watching the replay, just in case, because I thought I was sharing it on my page. Apparently, it didn't share. So I just shared it like 10 minutes ago, which is like the end of the video. But if you're watching the replay, then
Oh
yeah,
no.
just say replay. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, I'll come back to the chat here, and then if you have any inquiry or interest in the retreat, then send Aline and or myself a message, and would
Yes.
love to speak more about it.
Perfect. Such an honor, sis, for this powerful talk and for bringing to light our dream, our vision. We are making it happen by the grace of God with his help, with divine, universal guidance. We are coming into this fruition period, and I'm so excited and really looking forward to it. And I feel like 6 months are going to pass very fast, and we will be together in Bali eating fruit in no time.
Yeah,
So,
in a blink of an eye, in a blink of an
mhm.
eye. And it's rare, or basically doesn't even happen, that I plan things I barely plan things 6 days in advance, let alone 6 months. But
Yeah.
it's a testament, but this is how I know that there's such a resounding from the depth of my everything, yes to this.
Mhm.
So whoever is meant to be part of this configuration,
Yeah.
the beautiful souls that are going to be present at that immersion, that feel called to this, to Aline and myself, then I have absolutely no doubt in my heart that this is a very potent and
Mm.
meant to be experience that
Yeah.
is going to offer massive transformation and upgrade. Life
Mhm.
retreat, life immersion, like Faith said, it's
Yes.
life. It's just
Yes.
about life, the nectar of the life.
Mm. Mm. It's it's a full yes for me. It was like zero hesitation, no hesitation, 100% full body alignment. And the more I think about it, the more I feel like it's just a yes overall. I've really been praying for something like this, this type of collaboration, this type of co-creation, with somebody that I really feel super connected with and can be authentically myself with, and also like amplify each other. I feel like that's what we do. We really like amplify each other's light. We amplify each other. We bring out the best in each other. And that's really like really powerful. And whoever comes in that, we will do the same for you. We will speak life into you. We will really encourage you in pursuing your dreams, in getting in touch with who you truly are, so that you can go back home and continue in that energy, and continue in that frequency of that self-love to accomplish your deepest dreams. At the end of the day, it's all about realizing our dreams and living in our highest purpose. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Amen, sister. Amen.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Is there anything else before we wrap? I can't even believe we went like almost 2 hours now. Thank you all so much for staying with us. Everybody's been on our talk for the last 2 hours. So thank you so much for being here with us. I was holding on to every word. I said this to you before. Every time you speak, I'm always like, wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Faith. Thank you. Oh yeah. 2 hours is nothing. Like, oh, can you imagine what will happen in 8 days? I think we're gonna like shoot up to a different galaxy or something.
All that durian, we're gonna be like,
We're
I'm
gonna
like,
shoot we're gonna shoot up to the durian galaxy, wherever that fruit came from. That dimension.
yeah. That
Oh boy.
that fruit is on a whole other level, just like you.
Just like you. Yeah, well, let's close this one, and we shall come together. Oh yeah, Matthew, send me a message, my friend.
Yes,
Definitely. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, send me a message. Yeah, so we shall come together again potentially next week, Aline and
Mhm.
I. You and I can talk about that, and I would love that. This
Yes,
is just so much
absolutely. Yes,
fun.
definitely, definite.
Yeah, we're gonna start the Nectar of Life show, basically.
100%. Let's go.
Boom. Awesome. I love you
Mm,
so much, and everyone, yeah, again, thank you so much for being here and tuning in for nearly 2 hours. And those that are watching the replay, thank you for tuning in. And again, if you have any question, comment, whatnot, either put it in the thread here, or send a personal message to either
yes.
me or Aline.
So beautiful. I love you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And we will be back next week. Thank you for everybody for joining us. Bye.
Bye bye.